In this video, how can you make money from property that you don't own? There's more than one way to make money from property. There are hotel chains out there who actually don't even own a single building. This gives them the flexibility to grow faster, to move location if environmental factors should change, and they have the ability to take on buildings larger or smaller depending on the current economic climate. So the difference between property that you own and control is that property you control is property that you have the mandate to use commercially. You can do this with leased property. The advantages: you can have access to property that you may not be able to afford, a lower initial investment, no long-term commitment in the event of changing environmental factors, and an exponential rise in income. So how do you do this? You approach landlords with an offer of a commercial let with guaranteed income. This gives the landlord the opportunity to have completely passive income, because many of you who are buy-to-let landlords know that more often than not, it's not completely passive. There's always something that you are concerned about, something that you need to chase up, an issue that you may have, etc. So think about your own properties. Would you agree to a slightly more reasonable rent, knowing that you will have a completely passive income? You will have no responsibility or concerns for that property. You will not have any tenant issues at the end of the lease should you want to do something other with the property or sell it or whatever the case may be. You can easily modify your portfolio to more commercially viable locations. First and foremost, you need to conduct your research. For those of you who don't know, there's a website called AirDNA that gives detailed statistics on short-term rentals throughout the country. It gives you an idea of which areas are most in demand, what their monthly occupancy rate is in percentages, and much, much more, including the average rental fee for comparable properties, so that you can really conduct your research before you even make any commitment whatsoever. Consider collaborating with others to grow your network and your portfolio faster, as well as benefiting from shared management responsibilities. Ensure that you use the correct contract. Many people ask, is this legal? Well, if you used an AST, which is an assured short hold tenancy, then you would be illegally subletting. But if you have the correct contract, which is a commercial management agreement, then you will not be breaking the law whatsoever. You're fully entitled to manage the property as you wish. The key is to be prepared to have the right answers so that landlords will rent to you. Your initial contact with a landlord will simply be introducing yourself, explaining to them that it would be a commercial let with a guaranteed income. Then when you meet the landlord, then you explain further. The landlord may have lots of questions for you, and you need to have the answer to everything. You need to make the landlord, who probably wasn't thinking about anything like this, think to themselves, actually, this works better for me. It can also work for those of you who may want an income from a property in the short term, because you don't know what you're going to do with it in a few months or in a year or so. Perhaps you've just renovated a property and you want to place the property up for sale. Then short lets could be a way for you to get income from the property while it's up for sale, because you can literally grey out one afternoon a week, one day a week, two, for viewings, and the rest of the time the property could be bringing you in an income. People are guests, they're not moving their possessions in the day after they leave. The apartment or the property is clean and it looks once again like a show house. Perhaps you're hanging on until you can exit to buy to let or do whatever else with the property, and you do not want to risk somebody moving in who may not wish to move out when you want to do something different with the property. Landlords may also think the same thing when they rent to you. They may think, well, if I do it this way and give this person a 1-year commercial let, the chances are at the end of this year, I'm not going to have a tenant in situ. I'm not going to have any problems. So in 365 days, I get my apartment back or my property back in the same condition that I handed it over. No problems, no risks, no headaches, no Section 21s, no issues whatsoever. Anyone who's been a landlord may find that very appealing. So it's perfectly fine to build up a portfolio alone, but as I said previously, partnering with others could see the total portfolio grow at an exponential rate, and there would be benefit in working as a team, of course. What you firstly need to consider when you're looking at any property is the return on investment. This is crucial. If it's a property that you own, then you can get by with a smaller return on investment because you are also in the long term benefiting from capital appreciation. But in property that you are simply managing, there is no capital appreciation, so you have to be very, very careful about return on investment. In this instance, as a rule of thumb, you should be looking for a return on investment that is in excess of 100% more than your outgoings each month. If you would like to know more, or if you would like to consider a joint venture, then I'm happy to help in that instance. As always, please feel free to email me, Antony@trellos.com, and I'll see you in the next video.